Hello everyone, my name is Slade, I'll be your host, and welcome to Star Wars Did You Know? The species known as Bothans were mammalian humanoids who ranged in height from 1.5 to 1.6 meters on average. The species as a whole was covered in thick, emotive fur that rippled in response to emotion, and the language that formed from this was Rendui. In addition to being fur-covered, both male and female Bothans sported beards. The species originated on their homeworld of Bothui, and there were various subspecies, featuring feline, canine, and equine features. In addition, the species was known to be able to crossbreed with others, although it is unclear exactly which species were capable of breeding with Bothans. Despite being members of the Galactic Republic since at least 4000 BBY, the Bothans' relationship with the galaxy at large and the Republic were somewhat complicated. This is largely due to the Bothans' philosophical view on life, a creed called the Way, which prioritized political gain and personal achievement over all else. This almost religious pursuit of power meant that loyalties within Bothan society and beyond it were constantly in flux, and Bothans, for better or worse, whether it was true or not, were often stereotyped as being untrustworthy. However, despite this stereotype, Bothan society was heavily rooted in clan and familial loyalties. All families were organized into clans. Loyalty to your family and clan was seen equal in importance to the gain of personal power. One's clan was denoted by the last component of a Bothan's name. Such was the dedication of individuals to their clan names that any infringement of honor, no matter who the individual might be offering the insult to the clan's honor, was to be met and challenged at all times. And this occasionally created friction between Bothans and non-Bothans, who saw criticism of individuals as perfectly valid, whereas clan members of that Bothan's family might not agree. The Bothan government as a whole was led by the Bothan Council, which was comprised of the most influential clans, and led by the first secretary. During both the Clone Wars and the later Galactic Civil War, Bothan space would remain largely neutral, maintaining their own personal defense forces, but refusing to participate in the greater conflict. The one exception to this was perhaps the most famous aspect of Bothan society, the Bothan spy net, which would feed information to all sides in both conflicts, serving first the Separatists and the Galactic Republic, and later the Rebel Alliance and the Galactic Empire. The Bothan spy net's most significant contribution to the war effort is arguably the obtaining of the Death Star II's plans, which resulted in a Rebel Alliance victory at the Forest Moon of Endor, thus ensuring the gradual defeat of the Galactic Empire. Despite their policy of neutrality, the Bothans were known on occasion to take definitive sides. Usually this occurred during a time of crisis for the Bothan species, at which time Bothan Council would declare our cry. This was a holy war, an all-out war in which all able-bodied Bothans were required to serve the military, and the Bothan war machine would not cease until such time as their enemy had been completely crushed or the Bothans themselves had been annihilated. The most famous incident of our cry being declared was following the death of Borsk Failure on Coruscant, where the Bothan species as a whole declared a holy war against the Yuuzhan Vong invaders, and even continued to persecute the Yuuzhan Vong following the peace treaty that was signed between the intergalactic invaders and the rest of the galaxy. Ultimately, despite their somewhat duplicitous reputation throughout the galaxy, the Bothans view themselves as perfectly honorable individuals, following the path of the Way in their acquisition of personal power and loyalty to their families and clans, and do not appreciate the interference of outsiders nor the persecution of their own species. Alright everyone, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to like and subscribe. There'll be more content coming. If you'd like to support the channel on Patreon, please do so. Every little bit helps. Until next time, this is your host Slade, and this has been Star Wars Did You Know?